Yes, dear viewers, greetings. My name is Jerome, and welcome to this episode where I want to talk about the dormant future of Africa and activating this dormant future through financing of unfinished transformation projects across Africa's emerging regions. So, across Africa's less developed regions, a quiet story is unfolding. That's a story of unfinished transformational projects. From the dry lands of Sahel to the valleys of Central Africa to the furrow belts of East and Southern Africa lie hundreds of projects conceived with ambition but stranded between vision and reality. So power plants without finance, roads designed but never built, agricultural corridors mapped but never cultivated, industrial parks still waiting for power that never came, that never arrives. And these are not failures of imagination, they are failures of bankability. The missing bridge between potential and progress. Africa's promise is immense. The continent holds more than 60% of the world's uncultivated productive land, abundant sunlight, rich minerals, and the youngest population on Earth. And yet too many regions remain trapped between aspiration and access to capital. The problem is not the absence of capital. The world is actually full of capital-seeking returns. The problem is trust, the kind of trust that investors demand and which governments must meet, must provide, must earn. Okay, so the projects stall not because they lack purpose, but because they lack credibility. In many emerging regions, project proposals are written as wish lists and not investment plans. Feasibility studies remain incomplete. Environmental and social impact assessment are copy-pasted from templates. Financial models are missing altogether. Procurement systems are often opaque. And as one African proverb goes, a house built without a foundation is a loom for the wind. Without credible studies and accountable structures, even the noble ideas are blown away by wind, by doubt. And at the heart of Africa's funding dilemma lies what I call the missing middle. And that's the concept, the gap between concept and capital. Governments and communities generate ideas. Lenders and investors hold the resources to make them real. But in between lies a void, a missing layer of project preparation and bankability engineering. That's where the good ideas go to die. Projects never reach financial close not because they lack merit, but because they lack readiness. Without solid technical design, without clear financial models, without risk frameworks or governance clarity, even the most visionary projects remain trapped in documents and dreams. And across the continent, 5 recurring challenges keep these projects idle. Among them, we have limited technical capacity, too few local institutions with engineers, analysts, and project managers needed to make or prepare investment-grade proposals. We have inconsistent policy environments where regulation that shift proposals that drag and leadership changes that reset priorities. Shallow domestic capital markets, local banks prefer short-term lending, leaving infrastructure and industry without long-term funding. Weak regional coordination. Cross-border projects like transport corridors or power pools get lost in bureaucratic silos. The data deficit problem. The absence of reliable information that investors need to measure risk and impact. But Africa doesn't need more charity. It needs credibility. It needs what we call bankability compact, or what I might call bankability compact. A regional framework that brings governments, development financiers, and private investors together to make projects investable, transparent, and technically sound. Such a compact would create independent project preparation facilities to produce feasibility studies that meet global standards, whether IFC, African Development Bank, or World Bank, and so on. So it would establish open data observatories, so every investor, no matter where they sit, can trust the numbers. It would promote blended finance instruments using grants, guarantees to de-risk early-stage projects. And it would, of course, strengthen professional project management hubs and build local expertise instead of importing it at high cost. So, of course, if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go very far, you go together. So the only way forward for Africa's emerging region is through partnerships anchored in transparency and shared accountability. Every dormant project represents more than a lost opportunity. It represents a delayed dignity. A stalled irrigation scheme means a harvest postponed. Unbuilt roads mean markets unreachable. Unfinanced power plants mean classrooms left in the dark, mean factories are not running, and so on. So the world is moving fast towards green energy, digital infrastructure, and resilient supply chains. Africa's less developed regions cannot afford to remain on the sidelines. What we need now is not another roundtable or declaration, but disciplined execution. Credible pipelines, accountable leadership, financing strategies grounded in realism, not rhetoric. So Africa's less developed regions are not poor in potential. They are rich, not in activated opportunities. The time has come to move from dependence to design, from aid to architecture, and from potential to performance. If Africa can close its bankability gap, if it can turn blueprints into bankable projects and projects into productive assets, then its next wave of development will not be borrowed, it will be built. The future is not buried between the soil, it's waiting to be financed above it. So a bridge that's never crossed, of course, remains part of the river. So Africa's dormant projects must not remain blueprints. It must become the bridges to its future. The vision is clear, the opportunity is real, and the time is now. Thank you so much.